only amygdala affecting on the fear centers. We have a fear centers all over the brain. So don't think that the amygdala get activated the most, but even some people who where amygdala is not activated, they still feel fear. So it's still protected by the nature, by our region of the brain, and they just taken over the essential fear centers for amygdala. Prefrontal cortex, when we think like a rational thinking, like controlling amygdala, can calm it down a little bit. So that's why conscious positive thinking is super important. Amygdala is might be overactivated, but they can switch here prefrontal cortex, or we're not scared and they switch prefrontal cortex logic, and they say, oh my god, yeah, wow, I didn't think about it, but it seems very dangerous. So they work with each other, and they support each other, mainly our safety and survival. The hippocampus is a memory hub, if you like, that combine with fears together, and a lot of neurotransmitters working in there, including dopamine, adrenaline, noradrenaline. Here, very important is our dreams and sleep. I would say is the main part. Then all the fears get processed. Processed mean our simulation, and as we know, quite often they see quite negative dreams. Our brain trying to put us into simulator of possible negative effects, but without experience with so much, I would say, so dangerous health response. If you see regular negative dreams, different nightmares, and the same episode goes here and there, please pay attention. I will talk about dreams and fear. Is that important? Have a good shadow and good sleeping routine to go through our own fears. Coming back where the fears come from and how a human, I would say, show our fears to others, and they're coming as early as infants, and infants and children get a little bit sensitive to voices, to the loud noises, and is it just evolutionary survival? The child gets really bonded to mother, and if extra different noise, he responds. Then you get toddler, so we're talking about 1.5 to 2 years. Toddlers get very scared of separation from their caregiver, mainly its mother, and sensitive to strangers because they're not sure if they can trust a stranger. They're scared of them because they don't have this connection. And child build this connection slowly and gradually. It's very important, mother and main caregiver, to be around and develop this transition slowly to protect fear centers and protect child from not needed stress. And this as well, toddlers getting their attachment styles during this time. It's a very important time. 2 years old, a personality get developed, and the future attachment, how the child will communicate, avoid or be social to others is important. So if you want to know what is your attachment style or fear centers, ask your parents about, or somebody who knew you when you was around 2 years old, how you respond to others, and what was your history. Children quite often scared of darkness and monsters or different type of animals, might be flies, or they discover, my son, he was really scared of sharks, and he believed the sharks would be everywhere. He never saw a real shark, but he believed a shark will be in swimming pool, and he even didn't want to swim in swimming pool. So it's a really different type of fears, how they interact, and that usually disappeared from the time. But I was scared in darkness by age of 20, 21, when I went into Paris in the Erasmus program. I was scared to sleep alone, and I remember that I was like a young woman, but I was still scared to sleep darkness and to sleep alone in the flat. Funny, but yeah, some fears can come with us for a little bit longer period of the time. So, and teenagers, they more have a social anxiety, they have a fear of rejection, performance, and different type of failures. We know in psychology the biggest anxiety is the nightmares linked to final exams, GCSE, A levels, or final exams at university. And I can confirm, yes, I remember my final exam at university. Then I was 23, I suppose, and I saw the nightmare about my final exam. It's like 4 or 5 hours. It was very long. All 5 years of medical school together in one. It was, I was so scared. And then I think nightmare was following me for another, I think, few years after. By age of 25, I already was mother, married with children, but I was still scared. Oh my God, am I fail this final exam? And we're still on the next year, so it's not that easy. So, so that fears come with us because it's a very important event in our life. And I think we all remember different fears that come, and good thing they do go. We have these dreams, our dreams trying to, nightmares when you're waking up with a heartbeat at night time. So allow the time to heal. And if you have still this type of nightmare, just take a little bit more attention to that, to treat it. And these fears need your attention, your self-love. Because the fears is the talk to yourself that, listen, this is a weak point in here and I need to work about it. We need to address it, accept it, and name it. And then slowly they will start to fade. So we all have these different fears that comes and goes, and quite often they come in from direct experiences. So if I wouldn't experience exam and the pressure from the exams, I wouldn't develop such a fear. Quite often people are scared of animals because they are dangerous, and if you had historically bad experience, your memory remembers the fear is a bad experience, so keep away from it. And they have maybe watching different films and they're scared of sharks. It's well known, yeah, they're scared of sharks, not because somebody witnessed them to seeing the sharks, yeah, they're scared of sharks because watching telly, because we've got so many films, we have to be scared of sharks. But actually shark attack not that often in comparison to car crashes, but they're not really scared of car crashes and not driving in the car, and it's #1 kill in the world. But they're scared, a lot of people are scared of planes, again, quite safe comparison to car, but no, we will travel by car knowing that is much more dangerous for human being. So here we're talking about the culture or general fears and something they never experienced before, but they have a culture of different films, different images. A shark is so dangerous, it bites you and eats you. And they all actually, meaning when you go into the ocean, crocodiles, alligators, isn't it? They're all scared of them as well. So it's not so many people actually dying from alligators, but probably genetically we're programmed to be scared of these reptiles, yeah, because they walk there. And probably in the past, who are really scared probably got a bad experience or witnessed something, and it was such a strong experience, negative emotion that just labeled to the a lot of thousands of years up to date. So yeah, so phobias and that type of experience, they might change us, they might make this affecting our epigenetics. Even for next generation, we need to understand everything what we experienced before child born might affecting our epigenetics. But when a child gets born, they inherit this epigenetic experience. So we creating these genetics for the next generation. So be careful, yeah. So we're not sure. It's a very good idea to have a children much late in the life if you have a lot of bad experiences. If you have a good life, a lot of positive experience, start to have a children earlier because you pass them less phobias, I would say, and negative to the next, collect less as possible, yeah. Trying to be more positive for survival next generation. If you have a very bad childhood, very stressful, try to collect more positive emotion as possible before you have a children, because you mask and you rewrite your epigenetics with positivity, and you pass these positive emotions and positive genetics to the next generation, yeah. So try to be responsible, And don't get into the bad trouble if you want to have a children. And this is the way how lifestyle medicine works. We're trying to prevent extra anxieties, and we're trying to prevent negative experience, and know what we should do for that. And now let's talk about culture and gender. Of course, fears is a cultural thing. There are a lot of people, majority of people scared of death. It's because something unknown. We don't know what's happening after the death. They have so many myths and how the death happens. So it's like a mystery. And they believe in God. A lot of us, older they get, closer they get to the death, more they think about it. Some people get more scared and have really can't accept the things of the end will happen. A lot of people are scared of illness, that they have a phobia for doctors or some sort of assessment, because they really can't cope. It will be hard for them to accept that something needs to be addressed and treated. People might be super scared of poverty. And poverty, of course, is changing us, but we shouldn't be scared, because it's not only up to us. A lot of things up to us, but some life events can turn us into the poverty, into restricted conditions. Public speaking is now we have less and less public speaking. Now it's social media and very isolated speaking, but still it's speaking and still can cause us different type of anxiety. And of course, it's failure, that we might fail, and you don't want even to do something because you don't believe in yourself, because you're pretty much sure you're going to fail, and it's not worth to try. That type of fears we have all to work on. Less fears we have, unless it's real fears that you understand is a fire, you need to jump. If it's near to the volcano, be reasonable in terms of your own safety. So in terms of cultures, we have collective societies. It's very fear of dishonoring family. It's the fear, historically, Shakespeare described, isn't it, infidelity, and it was a fear that your wife will be unloyal to you, and the man got a lot of fears about it. And there's to be looking in society and the wife left you because you're not being good or betrayed you was a big fear for quite a long period of time, because a lot of insecurity, a lot of aggression towards women. Quite often this type of jealousy was not without any reasons really, but because it's a fear, it's a cultural thing. In Western Europe, and the more ego self-oriented, they have more scared to be inadequate of society, but they can isolation. If you'll be isolated, or somebody would, though they think about me, so they put a lot of things on their own look, plastic surgeries, different type of dresses, makeup. The Western people, we do put attention on the way how we get accepted, and how people will take us in terms of our look. Let's be honest. Social media, all these filters, all the world, they do trying to present ourselves as better as we can. In Japan, is a fear to offending others socially, and in terms of genders, women have more phobias in terms of their safety in animals. As I said, the spiders and different flies and mice. Give them mice or a rat to the woman, next to the woman, and you'll hear the noise. It just will be so loud response in comparison to men, or flies with different spiders. We are just so loud. Sometimes I was even surprised myself in terms of my own voice, how high it goes. It just is such a scream. I think sometimes people can hear it for kilometers away, my scream. And this is death for nature. Even my son was asking, he was standing and something was falling, and I started to scream. I said, why are you screaming? And he look at me, Mom, it's nothing, it's just falling on the floor. And I start to scream. That was my absolute intuition. And it's what do we do? This is my response. And men could not understand my son. Why, Mom, you are screaming? Is nothing happening here? So please accept women the way how we are. Just be next to women, calm her down and say nothing happened, just a spider. It's no dangerous spider, it's just a rat or just mice. And just we need reassurance, or the action for the men. Go and hunt as well. Yes, so we really need to help. If you still have a mice or some spiders or any animals next to us, men, please, yeah, just act. So you can go. We will be out. We might go a little bit out of order, and we're not proud of this, but we just accept our biology. Male men, they have a failure fear and loss of control or financial insecurity. That is very important to address that type of fears as well. That woman as well, please understand your man that in case of job insecurity, that need to be addressed, and actually the same support. Men feel failure. They do experience failures, and sometimes they can't even recover for that type of failures. Social stigma makes men underreport of fears, so we somehow design and make them a man they shouldn't be scared, and as a result, men trying to mask their own fears and get aggression, or they're taking risks, or they do something unreasonable, because society expects men don't have fear, have fearless, and it's not exist. So men, we all have fears, and it's normal, and society also need to accept, the women and men have fears, and loss of job or that type of losing the health to provide for the family is probably biggest fear for a male, because he starts to feel useless. And sadly, the biggest suicidal attempts coming from male that come into the position of ill health. It is very hard for men to, it's the biggest fear of men facing, and sadly that type of people, then they're losing income, they're losing their health, they are the highest risk in general pool of suicide. So suicide is not only teenagers, actually the most successful suicide will be male later in life, then critically ill. Sadly, we need to address it, we need to talk about it, they need to protect and support male in these hard times, but more importantly, probably awareness of huge numbers. You can Google, you can do your own research about it, and if you know someone, just be supportive and kind. It's much more discussed about the youth, because of course youngsters they attempt more for in terms of anxiety, but the more successful one will be older people. So how fears affecting hormones and metabolic health. And here lifestyle medicine is more important topic. How what happens and why it's so important to address fear, name it, and understand what it does. First of all, is triggers HPA axis. It's actually the hormonal part of the brain respond for adrenal affecting the cortisol. As a result, cortisol rising up, and cortisol is preparing us for the stressful time. So we need energy. Because we need energy, is raising up our glucose. Yeah, it's released from the muscle, from the liver, using from everywhere, because then we stress, we need to act, and we definitely won't be able to eat. Yeah, because we're usually losing the appetite, or that type of appetite get disturbed. But the main thing, your brain doesn't expect you to enjoy your food, expect you to run, to act, and do something about it. Yeah, so not sitting, laying down, doing nothing about it, what majority they do, and then you have extra weight about it, extra illnesses. Yeah, usually we have to move. We lost that. Yeah, cortisol actually. Cortisol is a hormone of action. When we exercise, it gets released early in the morning for us to wake up. You can see with the sensors early in the morning, then you start to wake up, cortisol goes up and your glucose also go up, and you're ready to wake up because lowest glucose will be midnight and 3 a.m. and cortisol lowest at 3 a.m. and then cortisol slowly goes up and releasing glucose in the bloodstream, and they have this energy to wake up. It starts to peak around 8-9, and it's a time perfect for breakfast, yeah, and cortisol level as well getting highest. And this is also the best time for exercise in the morning. When you exercise, your cortisol goes up. So cortisol, that's action, 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 action. So we need cortisol. Don't think if you can't wake up in the morning, that means you might have the adrenal gland issues or metabolic issues. So make sure your hormonal part is working well, and don't blame cortisol. Cortisol is a great hormone and it just needs our attention to understand how it works and with nutrition and how to deliver energy, this glucose, yeah, to control this glucose, and our breathing, yeah, to make sure it's getting high and then getting slowing down. That's why in the evening you usually have less energy, and usually later in the day cortisol go into decline, and a minimum cortisol midnight till 3 a.m. usually around 3. Then we experience the lowest drop in glucose as well, because we expect to sleep. Make sure 3 a.m. this is time from 11 till 3 a.m. we all sleep. It's very important. Yeah, this even 3-4, yeah. So what happened to adrenaline? Adrenaline is a very important hormone of action that we just act. What happens is start to increase your heart rate, your heart start to beat, you increase your blood pressure, and of course also blood sugar. But blood sugar jumping up much higher than the cortisol. Cortisol increasing it you to be calming down, walk slowly, chilled, without too much action. But adrenaline need a lot of sugar. So it's like spiking. You will see the spike of the sugar. That's adrenaline. You know what happens sometimes with people with a low and poor metabolic health and glucose control, the sugar drops very low. And then it goes too low, the cortisol or normal response can't anymore lift it up to reasonable side. Adrenal gland spike adrenaline, and as a result you might have this terrible heartbeat, palpitation, high blood pressure, anxiety. Just sometimes you can wake up if you have a hypoglycemia at night, and then your sugar comes from 2 millimole up to even like 8-9. So that huge spike during the fasting period, very dangerous. That's adrenaline. You just spike there. A lot of sugar gets released with all the metabolic response. So if somebody experience that during deep sleep, sometimes might also happen, because deep sleep, you're not paralyzed. You quite you go through a lot of different experiences, and you might wake up with palpitation of the heart, so cold sweats, nightmare, you don't understand what's going on, and with adrenaline as well, you might be absolutely lost, you don't understand what's going on, you might have these flashes, you might feel really weird, depending on concentration, yeah, how much adrenaline your organism decide to release depends, and then you will have different experience. But in general, it's a heartbeat, high blood pressure, palpitation, cold sweats, and this is inadequate a little bit condition, and that adrenaline goes very quickly, but respond and our condition recovery after adrenaline might be quite prolonged. So we need to know how to exit from that. So be careful trying to minimize these adrenaline experiences. Our organism will create, even at night, simulate, I would say, it's a fire alarm, if you like. If you don't experience it in real life, that very important response, you will experience at night. So not necessarily you have metabolic issue, if you experience too often and you notice that you're waking up quite often from these heats, from the heartbeat, your blood pressure goes up, just monitor, record it, yeah, and seek professional help if it's too much. So insulin. So why insulin? Because, as I discussed, because of the sugar. Because the sugar gets released from the cortisol and adrenaline, which is discussed, because they need that, and the insulin as well sometimes might be confused. Is that food or is not food? And insulin might be released. It shouldn't be there, but as a result, they might as well not only cortisol malfunction from stress hormones. It's also because of the stress. We might feel we need energy, yeah, so because there's so stress cortisol there, and you start to eat more. That is the thing. You have this craving for sugar things, you have a craving of, oh my god, where is the sugar, where is the fructose, where is the fruit, it means something, because you're so hungry, because you're so stressed, and you know you just need energy right now. Not right now, you do nothing, so you don't exercise, yeah, you don't act, but your organism historically, genetically wired you to eat and think actually you have to run, you have to do something about it, but we don't do anything about it. We're just stressed, we're sitting, what we're just drinking, smoking, eating, binge eating, and enjoying life, and all the metabolic health goes out the roof. So what happened to as a result of sex hormones? Because everything getting messed up, estrogen go into reduction, and women might start have as well different types of periods might disappear because of severe stress. Testosterone goes down. In men, testosterone is might have erection problems as a result of fertility issues. So that's why if here the key point for women in terms of stress, her period, her cycle, and for the man, morning erection. Why morning? Because if already in the morning you experience erectile dysfunction, the problem in the morning, then definitely at the end of the day you'll have more problems, because testosterone peaking in the morning from 6 till 8, 9 o'clock. So if you have a problem there, then please seek address it. Don't leave it for too long. Erection is only fine already, is already, excuse me, you see something wrong for the man and he is not acting, is not recovering, you might go into even worse, even more problem. The same for women. Is the period is not regular, if she's overeating, putting on weight, please seek professional help, both of you, and woman and man. Yeah, so because sex hormone and sex life is number one, I would say the most visible, but a lot of people just blanket, leaving and understand I'm too tired, I'm not interested in sex, and the woman, oh, I don't have period, I'm so happy, I'm not really need them. No, please be aware that is crucial, and it's a huge alarm, yeah, for you to get professional help as soon as possible. So what happened to the lipid profile? We're all scared about that much. Lipid profile, as we know, is linked to the sugar as well, and we hate this cholesterol. They need cholesterol, all this estrogen, testosterone, and cholesterol playing here a crucial role. And here we need to talk about low density lipoprotein, or is the bad cholesterol, and bad cholesterol. And so I think my microphone just gone. Here you are. And I bring it back. So bad cholesterol, or low density cholesterol, has two parts. One part is a good part, and the second part is bad. And this bad part driven by triglycerides. So if you have high triglycerides, there's an issue. And triglycerides coming from fructose, and different easy sugar, fructose, saccharose, etc. So if you cut your sugars, you will improve your LDL. It's like bad, if you like, cholesterol, but it's not all bad cholesterol. Yeah, you definitely will reduce the number. But what we need to look is triglyceride level, because high triglycerides will have a high low density. But if you have a high LDL, the bad cholesterol, and very low triglycerides, I wouldn't worry that much. That's mean the bad side of low density lipoproteins is still good proportion. And also here is a lot of dispute right now. As I said, there's a dispute about statins because it's a type A, type B, yeah, two types. Type A is good and type B is a bad, and type B is this is a bad we need to address, linked to triglycerides, yeah. But statin reducing good part of cholesterol, type A of LDL, and scientists and practitioners now argue is really good idea to prescribe statins or not. Some practitioners, doctors, scientists say, yeah, we have to because it's to improve and reducing risk. Ours then actually not really helping if the person don't changing their lifestyle and still consuming a lot of sugar because triglyceride levels still will be high. So here we need to address triglycerides goes up together with your general sugar intake. So we reduce your fructose and lactose, whatever, all these simple sugars should go down. As a result, triglycerides goes down and we get less responded to the stress. It's helping us because sugar is, you wouldn't have really energy to stress out between us. You know what I mean? Yes, to be stressed, you need to have energy. You should have resources, yeah? And if you, not only like that, yeah, if you're stressing too much because of adrenaline, if you don't have too low glucose, it has terrible spikes, it's not good either. So please find the balance, it's not that easy. So, and of course, the good cholesterol, high density, and this cholesterol moving around in the organism, Deliveroo or Amazon bag with delivering your parcels. Yeah, this good cholesterol delivering fat dissolving ingredients to the cells, so they need that, yeah, Uber drive, yeah, Uber, whatever the best in your country. So as a result, chronic fears and chronic phobias very badly affecting to our health, yeah, and metabolic health. So fear in the blood panels, yeah, so if you're stressed, but chronic stress and chronic issues might actually already blank response, so you might already not responding, full neuron organism already not fighting. So detectable lies the high level of cortisol, is the high level of fasting glucose, and hemoglobin A1C is the 3 months. So our red cells responsible not from deliver oxygen, but actually they stick in the glucose because it's a very important factor. We know that, and they circulate around 3 months, and they can by them they can summarize them and see how in general what is average for 3 months. It's a very important number, because if you have a low sugar in the morning fasting glucose but high fasting hemoglobin A1C, so this is probably huge spikes. You have roller coasters up and down. So please, when you look in your panel, what is correlation? Yeah. So ideally, we want them to be reasonable, not very high end. So yeah, if it's have a low glucose, fasting glucose in the morning, if it's too high there as well, look at these two numbers together. Triglycerides high, yes, we discussed that, and low high density lipoproteins, and as a result we welcome metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome, main visual how to identify the problem is a big belly, yeah, it's visceral fats. If it's been over 10 years, we do expect 10-15 years, it's average, yeah, approximately, not necessarily. You might have metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, sugar issues, and your lipid profile might be well without even having belly. So if you don't have a belly, it doesn't mean you don't have an issue linked to the stress. Chronic stress and chronic condition, for example, regulation of untreated hypoglycemia, the people who suffer regulating sugar, then what happens to them, they might have a blank cortisol response and there might be very low cortisol, for example. Yeah, it's a lot of different metabolic issues can happen. So not necessarily if you're super stressed, you will have high cortisol. Yeah, so it's not that easy. So if you notice any problem and you have a complaint, please consult healthcare professional. Yeah, don't treat yourself with ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. You can listen, you can grow, you can learn to listen yourself, but I highly recommend you to seek professional help. Book your GP, speak to your pharmacist, and find the referral what you need. Because ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, and all of this, you're going to listen, jump from practitioner to practitioner. They're going to tell you something, and then you start to Google it, or you go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek or something, tell me, it will give you so many different options. And then you have even more anxiety. Oh, I might have that, I might have this, I might have that. So please be reasonable, do minimum tests as possible related to your condition. But what is a very good thing, learn to name it. Learn to feel yourself. The knowledge we need you to connect it to yourself, yeah, and feel it, yeah. Don't act and don't panic and don't after that go to the doctors and say, oh, okay, that's it, I need to check X, Y, Z, and bless the you passing your anxiety further to healthcare professionals. And I think healthcare professionals, I agree, seek professional help. Yeah, so even when we create awareness about it, so if you see the large belly, what you have to do everything you want to reduce your belly size. This is for 100%. Doesn't matter. You cannot to Google it. Whatever suits you the most, without toxin, without alcohol, smoking, or too much sugar. Yeah, because that's not gonna help. Yeah, so big belly, whatever you want. Do be creative in here. Okay, back to sleep and fear. Because of course, if we get scared, we can't really sleep, we have insomnia and nightmares, regular nightmares. That is a very good sign that you have a severe, some fear or anxiety or something. And upcoming flight, for example, you might be scared of some event coming in, or different phobias, or different, you expect something bad, anxiety of different words, and poor sleep worsens, and all the circle of well-being getting messed up. Yeah, so that's why they need to address it, understand the importance of the sleep, and because sleep is recovery of the brain, and sleep is number one what we need for fear, because sleep, deep sleep mainly, and REM phase, the dream phase, will help us to go for these fears. Yeah, there's extra training. If you take it seriously, if you learn more about sleep, about the dreams, about the way how you can meditate before you go to sleep and create this sleep routine, and waking up, morning routine and night routine, correct, right way, you will support yourself so greatly with your fears. So take it seriously. Yeah, so it's a lot of things to lifestyle medicine. Every single pillar is so important, but I want you to get prepared. So that's why I'm talking about anyway about the same things. So if you're in relationships is the lifestyle medicine. Is number one longevity and is motivation for our life. It's relationship. Humans, they're very social animals. They're super social. And relationships for us is so important, and we're super fussy. Yes, we are fussy. And older they get, more fussy they get, and more we live in this world, faster they get, because our prefrontal cortex grows, they have more competition, they have so many things, they get they can't choose because ideal does not exist, but exists. Yes, so you need to learn about it. They have a fear of abandonment, somebody will live in us, they stay alone. So we get married and then divorce, so divorce rates goes up. It's all the time. If you have a first marriage, you probably have a high risk to get divorced in comparison to second marriage. Yes, so if you're second marriage, you have more chances to get to the end in the first marriage. Some people are trying to to swap it and not get married. Thinking that will change. Not really, just experience. But yeah, we have a fear for somebody leaving us. that you start relationships and your husband or your wife will betray. And now that type of fear actually start to go in both ways. Men really scared, then you get successful, create the family. Women will even take the money away, and the women have fears that you give birth to children, working very hard and give you the best of herself to the man. Men just leave for younger or more attractive women later in life if you'll be successful. So, and this is the game. Everybody have the fears, and they say, I don't need it, and they're stuck. They suck at the moment, a lot of us. Fear of intimacy, social phobias, we creating this distance, and no, we just, we not feel confident, and again, it's metabolic health issue, that people don't find themselves sexually attractive, and a lot of things reduced sexual activity significantly for the past 50 years, together with metabolic health. So we get, and of course, testosterone goes down, estrogen goes down, and sexual attraction goes down. And yeah, first of all, we need to address metabolic health. Yeah, so we need to treat this, and then the intimacy and that type of fears start to disappear, start to slowly improve. And humanly needed, because I think we're one of the lowest sexual activity in human history. Yeah, they playing computer games. We find so many other things interesting comparison to bond to each other. They have a fear of conflict because they avoiding conflict, run away, and all this avoidance and anxious. But they decide, I don't like dramas. You know, this is super one. It's not, but they don't like dramas. They have no idea how to resolve it. They have a fear of conflict. They have a fear to face, do something, because the conflict is the action as well. You need to, first of all, listen. They don't want to listen. We believe that we're always right. Not all, yeah, but we truly believe in that. A lot of us, because we have good genetics. They are treasure of the space, of the earth. So resettlement and couples might be trapped by phobia limitations. So again, somebody have a fear of something, they're not addressing, they're not doing anything about it, and somebody giving up. So we need to trust, we need to have a good communication, we need to learn how to build that this emotional safety. And of course, a fear of relationships, and relationships right now struggles, I would say, as never before. Mainly Western world, we're talking about Europe, and we're talking about States. Comparison to Asia, where we still have a lot of social norms that divorce not really socially acceptable, that sort of things. But our areas in our country need extra attention on relationships. Fear of and addictions. So here, sadly, that is fear-based coping mechanism, and leading in here will be alcohol. Yeah, because it's a liquid courage. Everything you get fear. Some people who have social anxiety, they drink a little bit alcohol, and this anxiety goes away, and you get much more social, less fears, and they're acting much more naturally, quite enjoying themselves. And true alcoholics, they just love, they feel themselves when they're drunk. Comparison, they just like themselves that much than they're sober. Nicotine, this is smoking, is a ritual, like a calm in the nerves, and there is a chemistry in neuroscience and nicotine there as well. But mainly it's creating these addictions, different sort of addictions, calming, coping ritual, really. Food addiction, oh God, is with ladies, they constantly get worried, and some ladies are constantly eating, quite often binge eating, and children. Girls start to suffer from age of 11, 12, that sort of pre-puberty, if you like. Then they start with hormonal changes. They might suffer from binge eating, the eating stress, if you like. And of course, it's too much, and they start to suffer from a lot of different anxieties, a huge flower bouquet of that. Please address binge eating, talk about it. If this is not solution, then you need to find other things like breathing techniques, walks, journaling, but not eating, no alcohol, no artificial, no drugs, no smoking. Try to find another passion that will flow state, really, when you lose a little bit yourself, something you really adore. So alcohol, nicotine, opiates, because the emotional pain gets suppressed, they don't feel fears anymore, everything getting so much more in different beautiful colors. Cannabis as well, relaxing and calming phobias and the fears, and of course it's food, and quite often is sugary food, because they give you this spike of sugar and energy. Then you say, yeah, I can make it now, so I can think now, I have more ideas. And the sugar is really very addictive, and it's very dangerous. So, and what is the cycle dangerous of linked to the fear? Fear, as I said, we need to act, we need to do something about it. And all the world now, scientists and medical care, pharmaceutical care, trying to find this gaslighting technique. It's gaslighting. They're trying to gaslight ourselves that did something very good, and earlier or later, sadly, our organism will catch us, and our brain will understand something wrong. You know what? Yeah, a billion and billion of cells, and 300 billions. How many we have? A lot, like a huge universe. Finally, get the message that we are just gaslighting them. So, substances create this fear relief cycle, and they stand in endless loop. Majority of us, it's just a circle of life. It's a circle of fear comes around us. Fear, substance, any substance, so it might be sugar, it might be anything you want, temporary calming down and rebound, coming back to fear, anxiety. And this is addictions. Some women goes main addictions, for example, their own insecurity in terms of sexual now is pornography, so available, and they found the relief, and it's very dangerous. They need to be treated, because a lot of men just simply don't realize that addiction is dangerous. Working, so they run an environment and working day and night. They don't have a time for the family, for their wives and relationships. That addiction, they need to address it and name it. You have an issue, have a problem. Women, they have a money spending addictions. Now women have much more money. They earn this money by themselves, and someone can't live a day without buying something. They're buying all the time the same items, same color, or I don't know why they need so many items. That addiction. They buy, they don't bean, and they grow, and then they can't make this choice. And they feel so much better when you buy something. That's addiction. You shouldn't feel better than you buy a new dress. Yeah, of course it's great, the new dress. I like dresses as well, and I think it's nice to have a different variation and change yourself, but just to have a limit and understand that that shouldn't affect your fear cycle, your fear or feeling better. You run away, and then you get into this relief and fear again. This dress will make it through the spark for the moment you feel better, and then actually make it only worse, because too much clutter, too much mess around you, too much distraction, and then you go to this circle, worse circle. It wouldn't be better, yeah? It will be only worse. Once you buy extra items and actually spending a lot, and a lot of clutter is not making better, it's only making worse. What getting better is selection and decluttering. That is a treatment. Yeah, so if you bin something, tidying up, cleaning and making an order, that's a treatment. But once you bring something in the house, yeah, be careful what you bring in. Yeah, so alcohol, social phobia relief, and then is dependency. The people who feels it's hard for them to communicate with others is different. This might be autism, this might be, I don't know, avoidant type personality. They have a more chances that they might be addicted to alcohol. They like themselves much more. Cocaine as well is dopamine search, paranoia, that sort of things, and they get addicted to very strong cocaine because they feel a purpose. They finally find a way why it's worth to live in this life, but then just wears off, and they face in reality and they get scared. Oh my god, what is that? I want it to feel back again. Caffeine as well. Caffeine is very important. People have a different response to every single drug actually. Yeah, so what I'm talking here, we're talking about alcohol, cocaine, nicotine. Everybody have a different response. It not necessarily you have a very strong response on caffeine. I like a taste. It looks like caffeine not really affecting me at all, but is caffeine might increase adrenaline in some people and increases fear sensitivity. And so here it's very important to understand what substance get addicted to, and if you're addicted even to caffeine, sugar, or snack addiction, eating, binge eating. Yeah, so you have to first of all identify your addictions and identify your fear and how this fear affecting your daily life. Journaling or even videos helping you in these terms. In terms of your physical health, to experience rapid heartbeat, sweating, there might be palm sweats, yeah, or your gastrointestinal issues, you have a bloating or diarrhea or constipation is very important. You're getting shaky, so that might be linked to hypoglycemia, the shakiness. You know, the sugar always respond to the stress, yeah, because cortisol and adrenaline linked to glucose in the bloodstream. You don't want when you stress severely, you will see these spikes up and down. If somebody wearing continuous glucose monitoring, they understand what I'm talking about, and I recommend you as well, when you start to make life changes or you notice the problem, have them, yeah, but only make sure you have professional help. And the bad thing, sad thing, that healthcare industry, healthcare professionals not trained yet enough. They don't have enough of experts in microbiomes, in terms of psychology, and your lipid, your biomarkers, and you can see your blood test. Medically trained, but we don't want gaslight. I call it the gaslighting in my lectures, because any medication, any prescription medicine, it's some sort of gaslighting of our brain and our organism. And any gaslighting has a cost, and usually have a positive thing. Sometimes, occasionally, we can do that to kill bacteria. The bad, deadly bacteria will destroy and killing us. And we know we have a list. It's a great thing. Antibiotics, what we've done is amazing. They save the planet. We've done so well. But however, even the same antibiotics killing so much microbiota in our gut. Yes, we need to address it, understand the concentration, how often they do, and have that very wide approach. This problem is healthcare professionals, and hopefully lifestyle medicine, functional medicine, preventative medicine will get more popular. Okay, cognitive, catastrophizing it all the time, black and white. You're talking about cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, is really helpful. If you can't cope or you can't find them, please get maybe some 6 sessions to identify where are my fears. If you can't do it alone, it might be hard. It might be hard, but if you notice that you have these fears, try to psychotherapist, counseling will help you identify them. This is their job. Yeah, their job is identify where are these fears and what type of fears affecting on your metabolic health. And the rest of metabolic health, with the help of psychologists, you identify them, you name them, you journal them, that's it. It's a big job already done. And then you come finally to healthcare professionals, or you can go directly to us. Yeah, but you need to still search for these triggers, the cognitive, where it come from. Behavioral is very important, because what we do is very important, not what we say, yeah, but what we do, because brain mainly linked to the actions, and the words is as like a little bit as a medicine, yeah, because when we hear is a manipulation and gaslighting of yourself or others, and quite often what we say don't have anything linked to the reality, and we need to look in actions, yeah, because adrenaline, cortisol, metabolic health, what we do is saying the most what truly is going on inside of us. And of course there's emotions in terms of how we feel, and a lot of people sadly we are emotionally numb or blind. They're not trained and they don't know how to name it. Again, in these terms, a counseling, a psychologist, some sort of therapist, practical, will be able to talk to you about it, because medical care, pharmacists, nurses doctors, we're not psychologists. We're trained address and help you with your direct metabolic issue, high blood pressure, that sort of things, your illnesses. But we're not really trained in emotions, getting now more and more advisable change all the system of education for all healthcare professionals to be more trained in how to provide support in emotions and cognitive functions. Yeah, but that takes time to train us extra. So it's lifestyle medicine, it's a functional medicine, it's a lot of extra, but need a little bit of time to integrate. I hope if the next 10-15 years we'll have much more services available within in healthcare, and be not that separated in terms of therapy and medicine. So classifications, again, specific phobias is animals, social phobias, they're linked to the public, to the people, and you're scared of the people sometimes, and fear of open spaces, and of course is fear of loneliness, fear of death, etc., etc. So there's so many different fears. Is identify fear's impact, how this fear affecting us. First of all, is the workplace, is a social phobia blocks for promotion, for presentation, or you have a fear to say something, or to address your things, how you feel truly. In terms of health, a lot of people have needle phobia. As a result, they're avoiding blood tests, they're avoiding vaccinations, and it's a bad result, because if you know you're going to see the doctor, they're might definitely take the blood, because we need to see your profile. But now the good news is all these needle phobias, we have so many little finger picks or even devices to just kick, like even sugar monitors, is you don't see these needles. Well, a little bit of needle, tiny little needle, but you even don't see that. It's not that big needle. We need to phlebotomy is taken out of your veins. So science working in progressing these terms to get your results from saliva, from DNA, from your stool, for example. So there's a lot of things that we might actually identify now without need taking your blood. Relationships and daily life. Okay, you need to, the best thing is just journaling and record it. Fear in daily functioning. If you notice that you're avoiding something, you just missing your opportunities and you limited your growth. So when you identify and done the list of your fears and what's stopping you, address it and work on it. Yeah, it is no other option of the growth. Decision paralysis, you will be stuck. You wouldn't be able to act, and majority of us, and the reason of metabolic issue, health problems, is we just stuck, they don't address them, they don't name them, and they ignore them, and they're blind. Yeah, and they just carry on like that, coming to the pharmacist, give me a pill please. And the science, yeah, they're gonna give you something, they're gonna make it pill. And for your knowledge, 30% of any effect of any medication is placebo effect. If somebody's saying 50-50 is hardly doing anything, yeah, because 30% placebo is so strong. So, what else? Treatment options. What's the treatment? The fear, we all have fears, and we all might have the problems, and the treatment is CBT, is the cognitive behavior therapy, ACT, acceptance commitment therapy, and in lifestyle medicine, acceptance commitment therapy probably will be number one, is more successful. But to identify your fears and anxiety, CBT still probably will be both therapies, yeah. But ACT, acceptance commitment therapy, is more when you accept you have a fear, you commit to changes, and you just do it. Yeah, so it would be, if you like, find a practitioner, ACT probably be more recommended and more successful. Exposure therapy, so if you're scared of something, for example, you're scared of needles, if you're scared of spiders, go learn and expose yourself and get knowledge, because we have a fear usually because we have a lack of knowledge. And the idea of exposure therapy is you can do it yourself. It's very hard. First of all, you learn the theory about your phobia, yeah, so you have a theory. Then you start to expose yourself very, very solid, and you film yourself. You film yourself in the camera on your selfie stick, having fun. And when you watch you, yourself, your behavior, nothing happened wrong with you. You see you're smiling, you're walking. And the idea is for 6 weeks, you just increase this time with your phobia. Ideally, you want some supportive, some healthcare professional or psychologist or a very good friend, loved one, someone who will support you and who sees nothing scary in here. And do it slowly. So first of all, very fast, making a video, watch the video, because that is mirror neurons, isn't it? You see, oh, that's me, and that is my phobia. And nothing happened. I'm alive. Look, I'm not dead. Nobody bite me. Yeah, nobody scared me. So it's nothing happened with me. And then you do it again after 1 week, and like this for 6 weeks. And usually it's really successful therapy, but then it's done in clinical settings. The problem is patients not showing up. They're not showing up. But people who shows up, accept and commit to the therapy, they have very successful rates. Yeah, so exposure therapy, you can Google it, please do it yourself, try it. If you need help, then find relevant professional and address your issue, and get ready and commit to the changes. They will be so life-changing. When you work on your fears, the most successful people are who work on their fears and go through them. The more you will be able to improve that, the more success you will get. Yeah, because you will get fearless, reasonable. You have to be, prefrontal cortex will telling you, if you're not scared, prefrontal cortex, because you develop yourself, say, you don't have a fear, your amygdala so calm down because of your breathing, but yeah, it is dangerous. So then medication. Well, medication, of course, in some performance phobia occasionally might be prescribed, and against them, not against, in the cases they need it, of course, they might work as extra help to start the first move, and then of course it should be discontinued because they're quite strong effect on the brain. Mind body is mindfulness. They're talking about yoga and sporting activities, but stretching and mindfulness is super important. And of course it's breathing, box breathing, 4, 7, 8. What is the difference? Our organism can't work 2 systems at the same time, so parasympathetic system or sympathetic. So we're either scared or in the center of activation, or we're chilled and relaxed. And a breathing helping us to chill and relax. So earlier or later, if you start to breathe and learn the breathing technique suitable for you, you will be relaxed, and your fears, your anxiety and your stress will come down and get reduced. So try, practice it, and earlier or later, believe me, you will notice result. Mainly for people with severe phobia who have heart palpitation, heart issues, high blood pressure. Don't leave it, just breathe. Yeah, nice deep breath. Just breathe. So sleeping hygiene and lifestyle medicine, supporting groups, exercise, the good nutrition, microbiomes, mindfulness, and of course loved ones, your support from your family. Remember these 5 people, get these 5 people, talk to them about your fears, talk about anxiety, what worries you the most, choose the most trusted, what you closer to you, and get as much as support as you can. So what habits we can practice to reduce our fears is journaling of fears. So we need to address, they have to name it. Use the emotional wheel to describe how do you feel is very important. Gratitude, because gratitude shifting your attention from the negative, from the threat, to safety and to how much good actually happened. Breathing exercise, so 4, 7, 8, breathing, calming down your panic. And of course forgiveness. I record forgiveness is a very hard lesson to forgive someone, because a lot of fears you have because of a bad experience done by other people, and you have to forgive. Forgiveness is it's hard, I know, and the fear as well is essential. We all have it, and it's a very, very hard lesson about forgiveness and how to fight with our own fears. And sadly nobody else can do it for us, so I can't come and do it. I can support you. Yeah, healthcare professional scientists can support, but nobody will be able to do it for you. And sadly, a medication and gaslighting is not. It's have temporary effect. Yeah, just a little bit will help, but not for long. Yeah, in long run, you somehow should get there. A lot of people not getting there. Yeah, so they get stuck and they fall apart, and they can't find in the right direction, and then they group themselves with the people with the same fears and say, oh, you have a fears, come over, let's drink about it, and you start to feel so much better, and they drag you down. Yeah, so if you it's very important. Sometimes isolation here is beneficial for your own growth, because pain, facing fears of pain is very painful. And you might, like lobsters, you know, there's to grow sometimes you need to remove your shell and be super vulnerable. Isolate for some temporal time. If you don't have the people around you who will be able to support you in the right way, because it's a painful process. If you feel vulnerable, not supported, or you have a tiny little circle, have 1 or 2 people around you, close down and grow about it. Leave it, go through it, and you use it every single day. If you're gonna do it daily, name it, commit to that, eventually you will get there. Hard journey, painful journey. So support lifestyle medicine is a great part, because lifestyle medicine have a lot of psychology. We have a quite big chunk, important chunk of relationships and motivational interviewing. We have topics about cognitive behavior therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy. Lifestyle medicine introducing this as in combined metabolic health medicine, healthcare professional worldwide. And if you heard about healthcare professional, invite the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine. It's a world society or European society. We recognize worldwide. They're growing. They are promoting slightly preventative medicine. Preventative, we don't want you to be ill. And the good news is reversible. We can reverse it. They have reversed so many different diseases. Diabetes, 75%. We can save lives, they can improve our life, and they can change the world for the better. Okay, so fear is information, is not our destiny, is a guide and us for the growth, for the hard journey, it's a painful journey. Don't expect that to be easy. So when you shift your brain and say, oh my God, I will name it and I'll do it slowly, allow as much time as you need, but committed to this into the daily. So fear is universal, so all people have a fears, and this is I would say the strongest feeling. So don't try to be absolutely fearless. Know that as well as lack of knowledge, and if something happened to your prefrontal cortex, if somebody don't have a fear center, we all have number 1 fear centers, even with no amygdala. Yeah, so fear actually speeding up our decisions. Yeah, we react very fast, and scientists say people with no amygdala is a fear center actually can't take decision. They're just so stark. As these people, for example, were not scared of anything, you know this, so like sitting in nirvana, you know, just not scared of anything. Yeah, they can't make any choices because they're so slow. They're thinking, and there's no response, and good, bad, you know, the fear center is not activating, and the decision making will be absolutely, because they're using all the prefrontal cortex, and they choosing, you know, these people choose which book or which dress, yeah, or which food, and they stand for massive hours reading the differences, and they can't make the decision. So yeah, these people might have a calm amygdala, so it's not good. We want amygdala to be activated because we react, yeah, we fast. Okay, I need toothpaste, I need this, X, Y, Z, so it's minimum. But there is overstimulation is bad as well, so you need to calm down, but not that calm down, we can't even make decisions. So we need a little bit of fear, a little bit of stress, and the fear, if we're gonna choose here, reading all these numbers, doing all that stuff, I'll be late to my job and I'll be fine. That's a little bit of fear, and this is activation. So come on, go a little bit faster. You done your job and run. Anyway, it was enough for today. I wish everyone fascinating journey of fighting our own fears, and forgiveness and gratitude is very hard. I would say hardest of the hardest. What I found, preventative medicine and lifestyle medicine, is easier to finish PhD or write a paper, finish a lot of different masters, go to medical school, finish it, and a lot of stuff is much would than learn and practice forgiveness, gratitude, and facing your own fears is I would say is a mastering and professoring of life. Yeah, so I wish everyone can do that. No degree can facilitate this. There's only your goodwill, your own desire, and daily committed work. Start today, follow me for more insights and more guidance, and wishing everyone fearless and controlled, minimize fear life. That's it for today.